Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm so pleased to be, of course, in Doha and to be debating with you this evening. Education gives hope. And let me start with a question, which is, I think, really important, which makes us to think practical rather than rational this time. Be honest. Would you be able and go and live for a month in a refugee camp without any advanced facilities, such as without electricity, without internet, like millions of refugees who are living in dreadful situations worldwide? Please think about it deeply, and I will ask you about it later. But now I would like to tell you my own story of becoming a refugee. In 2013, I had to flee my home with my family and to go to live in refugee camps in Jordan, Za'atari camp. And for me, and of course for my family, that was the hardest choice in our lives. Even the situation was really difficult in Syria, but we didn't want to flee because we love our country and we wanted to stay there. But as you know, when there is war, there is no future. There is no life. So we had to flee and leave everything behind. Before the war, we had a normal life, like all of you. We had home, friends, education, and everything we needed. And most importantly, safety. But when the war started, our lives have changed upside down. That's why millions of Syrians had to flee their homes. So we have become refugees. For me, when I arrived to Za'atari camp, that was really difficult. I was so sad. I was crying because it was different and weird. It is completely different where I have come from. We had so many challenges. For example, we lived in a tent. One tent, a small tent, you have to do everything in one tent, like sleeping, eating, welcoming visitors, and do everything basically. Share your kitchen with so many people who you don't know them. And these are, private things that you have to share it with so many people. Bringing water from a distant place. As Mazoon, I have grown up and I love education so much. Education is a fundamental part of my life. It means so much to me. I cannot live without education because I believe without education I cannot do anything in my life. I cannot achieve anything and I cannot be a good person to my society and to myself. So my only concern was about education. I was thinking if I can find a school in the camps. And once I found it, I found hope. But unfortunately, I saw so many refugees. And of course, because they had so many difficult experiences, they lost hope. And they felt it is not important for us to be educated. But at that moment, I felt there is a responsibility. As I believe education is important for me, I believe it is important for each individual who is outside Syria right now and has an opportunity to go and be educated. They must use those opportunities and be educated. Because without education, that would be disasters, not only for my own country, but for the whole world. Without education, we cannot achieve anything in our lives. So that's how we started being an activist, going from tent to tent, convincing people to be educated and to have their knowledge and to have access to their rights. Do you know why? Because it is not our fault. I didn't make the war. I was just 13. Even when the war started, I was 10 or 11 years old. So I didn't want to see my country to be destroyed. Syria means so much to me. I can go back today before tomorrow if the situation would be better. If we could access our rights again, and we will be able to have, our full rights and to have safety, of course. But sometimes you are forced to. Unfortunately, most of us think about refugees just as numbers. But behind each number, there is a story of hope or maybe sufferings. But all those people are human beings like all of us. But the difference that you label you as citizens and they label us as refugees, that our circumstances are different. Why we label them and sometimes judge them in a negative way at the time those people want hope? They fled difficult situations just because they believe in a better life and to build better future for them and their children. That's why I fled my home. Not because I don't like my homeland. I have never ever thought I will leave my country. I love it so much, but I had to. It wasn't my choice. So my story is only millions of stories of those refugees who we have to think about them deeply and just know the reality. And what we have to do is to know about refugees as individuals and those people who can do something. So please use your advantage circumstances to help them, reach them out, and try to give them hope and opportunities. Push your governments and let them welcome those refugees. And I believe that international community and policymakers can do so much because they have the responsibility too.
Thank you.
Rather than talking about refugees as numbers, let's talk about them as human beings, and there is an unchangeable fact that we all are human beings and we deserve the best. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.